Why do we binge and how do we prevent binging from happening? Let's say on a Sunday, you just had an awful day. You just ate everything in sight. Everything started and you set yourself up for failure on Sunday, the day before, which is Saturday. Welcome to Unscripted. My name is Matthew, and this is where we talk about everything from health and happiness and how to live a healthier and happier life. Let's get right into the video. Subscribe if you're new. I love you guys. Binging happens 24 hours before the day that you binge. On Sunday, I went extremely haywire, and I was recently talking to one of my clients, and they had the exact same experience a week prior. And it's not that like I was unconscious of it, but like I was like thinking to myself while I was eating, I'm like, why am I so hungry? Why can I eat so much today? Like usually I could stick with my diet and I'm sticking to 1,900, 2,000 calories. Like obviously it's a cut, so it's, you know, it's on the low end, but usually I'm pretty good. Like I don't have temptations. And I remembered myself and had it, and the conversation that I had with one of my clients, I was like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. It's because everything I ate on Saturday was what caused me not to be able to, you know, stick with my diet on Sunday, and then I ended up binging on Sunday. So why do we binge? We binge because the day before, your protein was completely neglected. Everything comes down to protein and how full and satiated you are that day. Because if you're spiking your insulin, if you're just eating very processed foods the day before, you are more likely than not the next day to go insane, just to eat everything in sight, because your blood sugar and your insulin is just completely ruined from the day before. So on Saturday, I had my normal, meal one: eggs, rice, some ground potato, and all my good stuff. But then I went out and I had, half a burrito, a couple of quesadillas, some tacos, obviously not the highest protein sourced foods. And then the next day, I was just starving the entire day. I could eat, I think I went through like 4,000 calories, which offset me, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, you just get back on track and you're back into your momentum. You don't crash diet, you don't do extra cardio, you don't do all these things to punish yourself. It's all chill. You had a bad day. Not every day is going to be perfect. And I don't even like to call them bad days. You live life, right? Like you indulged a little bit. Like I don't even like to call it binging, but for the title of this video, we're going to call it binging, right? You binged, I binged. And how do you get out of this? Or first, before how do you get out of this, why did this happen? So I highlighted exactly that the day before is when you set yourself up for the day that you actually binge. So if you had a day where you just indulged in a shit ton of food, is because the day before you made some sort of errors in your macronutrients. And what I mean by this is specifically in the protein aspect. Because on Saturday, I had an enormous amount of fats, an enormous amount of carbohydrates. I had like I mentioned, like all those like Mexican foods, because I went out to a Mexican restaurant. I had some ice cream. And then when I was kind of doing my calculations, in total, I had maybe like 115 grams of protein, if that. That is not enough for me. Especially with the amount of muscle mass that I have, I need to be at least hitting 150 on a minimum day. And because I didn't hit this, I was extremely hungry the next day. And then I just started eating everything in sight. Like obviously, I could have said to myself, like, chill the fuck out, have some more mental discipline. But I didn't care. And I just, ate everything in sight. So how do you prevent this? Is by number one, packing and sticking to the amount of protein that you have set for yourself the prior day. It's as simple as that. Eat enough protein and you are less likely to indulge in other foods and you're less likely to be hungry. Why? Because protein keeps us full. Protein keeps us satiated and it just slows the digestive tract. If all your food inside of you is just carbohydrates, you're going to burn through all that like this, especially if you're at a low body fat percentage like I am. So that's number one. Keep your protein extremely high. Number two, what happens if you do binge? What happens if you do indulge in a lot of food? Are you supposed to punish yourself? Are you supposed to fast? Are you supposed to do all this crazy stuff? No. Just, it happened. You indulged, great. You ate a lot of food. Who cares, right? Like, obviously, if you're letting this happen every single day and it just becomes a habit, then it's a problem. But if once in a blue moon, like, this kind of stuff happens, don't stress about it too much. Don't make it like your identity. Oh, now I'm this like, horrible, evil person who just eats and binges and just like indulges in all this garbage food. For context, on Sunday, I'll tell you exactly how much I ate. I started off the day with a salmon and egg because I went to brunch. Bagel. Salmon, egg, and avocado toast bagel. Then I came home, made myself some rice, ground turkey, eggs. Then I went to my cousin's, had a sandwich. Then I had a burger. Then I had like 4 chocolate bars. Then I had some cake, and I was like, dude, I'm still hungry. I could still eat a goat. And it wasn't until I realized, I was like, oh yeah, the day before, I had almost no protein. It was just a completely write-off of a day. And my calories were, not the greatest either. Like the amount, like the quality of calories. The quantity was, in my calorie range around that 2019 to 2200, which I'm sticking around. But they were just mostly carbs and fats. So if your diet consists of mostly carbs and fats, and you are in this loop of just like wondering why you can't stop eating all these like shit foods, these processed foods, these junk foods, and like you're just, why can't I lose weight? It's because you're indulging in things that are not, number one, keeping you satiated, not keeping you full, and number 3, most importantly, you don't have your macros dialed in. Because your macronutrients determine how much how you look. Your calories determine how much you weigh, and your micronutrients determine how you feel. So if you feel like shit, if you have like negative thoughts, if you have this negative, angry outlook on life, if you're just like constantly in this like state of, negativity or like a little bit depressed or whatnot, or like you feel down, it's because the day before you are just eating processed foods, and most of your foods are not micronutrient dense. But if you're, positive, your skin's glowing, you're happy, it's because, you're hitting all your vitamins, you're hitting all your minerals, and you're actually fueling your body with the type of micronutrients it needs. And then macronutrients, you can adjust in a way to make yourself set up easier. And then obviously, you can lose weight on just eating cookies and ice cream if you have 15 to 2,000 calories, and if you're on like a 500 to 600 calorie deficit, right? But are you going to be able to sustain that? Are you going to be able to maintain that? And that's why I always talk about sustainability. And the best way to sustain fat loss, and the best way to, actually stick through it and stay in a calorie deficit, is by focusing on eating as much protein as possible, because protein will keep you full. This is why you have to have it as a staple in every single one of your meals, and have it as the biggest portion, so that the next day you're not, binging, you're not indulging in God knows what like I did. So now let's get into, okay, how do you get back on track after a day like this? Simple. You just do what you've been doing for the past prior days. You don't need to punish yourself with cardio. You don't need to punish yourself by removing carbohydrates. You don't need to, get into this deep mindset of like, oh, I'm such a bad person. Oh, I ruined everything. Let me just, stop this fat loss journey. No. Who cares? You're a human being. you made a mistake, or you don't even call it a mistake. You just had some good food, some tasty food. You fell into temptation. Just get back on track, right? Like I came home, made my normal meals that I've been eating, and then, with time, my body is just going to flush out all the garbage that I ate the past prior days, all the processed junk, and then I'm back on track. It's as simple as that. What you don't want to do is, yesterday, I had so many chocolates, I had a burger. Okay, so today I might as well also have that too. No, because that's how you start forming habits, and that's how, those bad habits are going to start compounding, and you're just going to get back right where you started. Imagine yesterday I had a burger. I'm like, okay, yesterday I had a burger, so today I'm going to have a burger. It's whatever. I'm already off track. And then, tomorrow I'm like, oh, yesterday and the day before I had a burger, I had some pizza, I had some chocolates. Oh, you know what? Let me just have it again today. And that's how that's how majority and the average person gets into these cycles, and they wonder, oh, okay, I'm not disciplined. I can't lose weight. I'm not going to be able to, hit my goals. So that's a little bit of a story about, how my purging day and indulgence day went. Am I beating myself about it? No. Am I a little bit pissed about myself? Yes, but at the end of the day, who cares? That's life. You enjoy, you have fun. That's the whole point of going to the gym. That's the whole point of being healthy, so that when you do have these one-off days, that's the most important thing. It doesn't ruin your results. It doesn't ruin your thing, right? So yeah, just have fun, be disciplined, create more than you consume, serve others, love everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe if you're new. Send this to somebody who might have indulged in the past couple days, or purged, or not purged, but binged, and they wonder, oh man, what am I supposed to do after a binging? This is what to do after a binge. This is how to prevent a binge. I love you guys. See you in the next one.